and then eventually it's like so with Dusk, for instance, it was pre-order, and I used to be against early access. Now I'm all for it because that's just the way Steam works these days. And then so it's early access, and then it's done, and then we add things like SDK, co-op, Steam Workshop, and then it'll be available on GOG, and then it'll be available on Mac, and then it'll be available on Linux, and then it'll also be for sale on the Humble Store and other stores where you can buy Steam keys that are legit, right? And then it'll be available on consoles, and then
Yeah, and you know what? That
and
seems like
then it'll be on sale.
yeah, and then finally we'll have a sale at that point. But I mean, to your point too, like by having a systematic approach where releasing things in a timely manner like that. I mean, basically, you're just looking for it sounds like a much more sustainable model. Like you can create sustainability, I think, much better from that type of approach than like you said, shotgunning it out everything. Because once it loses steam, it dies. But now plus you're incentivizing these players on the different platforms too. So I don't know. It just sounds like an awesome strategy to me.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good, right? We'll see. Like I keep saying, we'll see how it goes. But so far so good.
Yeah, awesome. So Dave, we
Yes,
covered a lot.
we did.
And from all of this, I was just wondering, like, what are a few key points that you could offer to indie devs on how to grow their brand, not necessarily quickly, but in an effective manner and within their means? Like, what are a few points that you think would be perfect for devs to take away with?
Um, I mean, be social. You gotta be. You don't have to be social, but somebody in your company should be. If you're an indie dev and you're not on Twitter and shit like that, or you're not, if you don't use Discord, you're not active on your, Steam forums, you're not actively engaging in discussions about your game, no matter where they pop up, whether it be Reset Era or whatever Doom World, then you're not going to have a conversation with your players. You're not going to be able to grow your player base. You're just kind of going to be hoping for the best. And some people want to do that. Some people are okay with that. Some people can just put something out and then walk away from it, and it does really well. But I think if you want to build a brand as well as put out games, then you have to be social. You got to get out there. You got to talk to your players. You got to go to shows like PAX. And you got to do the whole thing. If you want to build a brand, then you have to be a brand. You can't just be a company.
Right. Right. So being a brand.
Yeah.
Cool. And then on top of that, what about I mean, you did mention before, like messaging is key.
Yep.
And then just experience, you mentioned that like so many times throughout this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get experience. You gotta get it however you can. Work at the level you can afford that affords you the most experience. There's no substitute.
All right, cool.
You gotta get it done. You gotta get shit done. You gotta get shit made. You gotta get stuff out the door. You don't not even necessarily have to sell it, right? You don't have to sell it commercially. You just gotta release it, put it out. Put games out on itch, put them out on Steam, put them out on your own private website. Just make them available for download, finished things, or at least things that people can play so they can give you feedback so you can keep making better things. You're not gonna make anything better than your last thing unless you release the last thing.
Right, totally. All right, and I know that the topic of this whole podcast, or at least how I framed it and what it's going to look like in the show notes, was basically to learn and grow fast. But as we clearly covered, there is no real path to grow fast per se, but there is definitely a path to growth. And in terms of that, just for a closing thought, anybody who has a mindset, what would you tell that one person out there, or the few people out there that are like, I want to just really bang out? Like, what's the one thing that you're going to tell them to really stray away from that mindset?
What, tell them to what that they should not do?
Yeah, like they're like, I want to do this as fast as possible. What are you going to tell that person in like a quick sentence or two?
The slow but steady wins the race, I mean, you could be, sometimes you can do stuff fast and get stuff out fast, but do you want to be the guy that made the great game or the guy that cloned the great game? It depends on what you want to do, right? Some people are happy to just, do whatever. Some people just want to clock in and clock out. Some people just want to get a job, which is fine. But I think if you're an indie dev and you want to, have a life for yourself and have a work-life balance and make good stuff and have a good relationship with your players, which we do, then you got to take your time, slow down, and kind of assess, what it takes to make sure that you're not only making fun stuff and good stuff, but that you're happy and the people you work with are happy and that you enjoy making games. Because if you're not loving it, then what's the fucking point? Then it is just a job. And I think if you want to make indie games, then you don't want it to just be a job. You want it to be your life. And it is for most of us. This is all, people ask what you do. I'm like this all day, every day. I just try to finish games and get them made with my team. And we have a lot of fun doing it. And we're taking our time. We're not super successful yet. We're hardly successful at all. But we're successful in the terms of we have a really great relationship with our players. We're putting out really, really high quality games. And we're happy. Morale is great. We're chilling. People ask me like at E3, how's it going with Nupla? I'm like, we're chilling, man. Nice. We are absolutely chilling and getting good stuff done, and nobody's stressing. We don't have fires to put out on our forums. We don't have people yelling at us on Twitter telling us to kill ourselves. Because we're chilling, we're happy, and our players are happy, and we're having a good time. And it's a hard place to get to. I remember a time where just making games and everything I did was just, rush, stress, milestone, sprint, crunch. And that sucks. Nobody likes to be there. And it's just, that's the kind of stuff that kills teams, kills morale, kills your mental health. So I try to tell people just if you can, and obviously not everybody can, it's time and money. A lot of people, you don't have the time or the money to, take your time and chill out, obviously. It's easy for me to say because I've managed to make it happen, but it took me a while to get here. I used to have more money and less time, and now I have less time. No, I have more time and less money, and I'm happy with that. I'm a lot happier, without my big dumb house and my big dumb mortgage and stressing all the time, because we're putting out good games and my guys are happy and we can take our time. And after this call, I'm going to go head down to the beach for an hour and chill out and clear my head and think about the stuff we have to do after our team meeting, because we got to go and, run through some builds and do some crits, and, try to get these games out. And that's because I have managed to get rid of the stress by getting rid of a lot of the things that were blocking us being successful in that way. We could rush, we could stress, we could probably make more money, we could probably sell more copies. I know we could. Hey, we could have been in the Steam Summer Sale.
Right.
But I wouldn't trade the relationship with our players for anything in the world. I wouldn't trade my state of mind for anything in the world. And I wouldn't trade my developers' happiness for anything in the world, man. My guys are happy. Like I said, we're chilling. And in order to get there, you gotta slow down and you gotta take your time if you can. I know people are going to be like, well, I can't, Dave. I don't have the time or money. And I'm like, then work towards getting there, Work towards getting to a place where you can slow down and take your time. Because I used to be, stress crunch, trying to pay bills and stuff. And then I was successful and I thought, well, then just, bigger, more stuff, more stress, more crunch. And I was like, wait, no, because it didn't get any easier. I just had, more money, more fucking problems. Yep. It wasn't until I got rid of all that and was able to focus on, my sanity and, my developers, sanity and slowing down and taking our time that we got to the place that we're at now. Which, like I said, we're not raking in tons of money. We're hardly profitable. If we're profitable, well, I don't know. I'm not good at accounting. But we're happy, our customers are happy, and our games are good. And you know what? I'm cool with that for now. And hopefully, hopefully, like if we keep I hope it works. Like I hope this philosophy works. I hope in a year from now our games are all out and they all did really well and they're out on Switch and PS4 and Xbox and they're all selling tons of copies and I can apply this philosophy and tell people, hey, this works. Right? It's very much a work in progress now. So you don't see me preaching about it. I'm not saying, hey, everybody do this, because I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it does, but at the very least, put out good games. And we had a really good relationship with our players, and I am going to the beach.
Nice. All right, so before we wrap up completely, what's the best way that our listeners can, learn more about New Blood Interactive, about some of the games that you have out, just like, is it a website, social media? What's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Discord.gg/newblood. That's our Discord. We're in there. Come hang out with the other 5,000 plus lurkers and, tell us how to fix our games. Newblood.games. And we're at the New Bloods on Twitter. I'm at Dave Oshray on Twitter. And that's it, man. Discord.gg/newblood. That's where you can find everything. And newblood.games. That's where you can, get to all our games. And then we've got a store now where you can buy shirts and stuff. Yay.
Oh, nice. Some cool swag.
Yeah, merch.
Merch.
Amazing.
All right. Well, Dave, thank you so much for being a guest. And, hey, I hope you have a nice time hanging out on the beach before you get to that meeting.
I will.
All right.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Hey everyone, and thanks for listening to Indie Game Movement, the podcast that talks about the marketing and business of indie games. You can check out the show notes for this episode at indiegamemovement.com. I just want to give a quick shout out to Taisuke Kimura, who composed the theme song, and Donnie Wilson, who designed the logo. Thanks, guys. Also, if you have any questions, need help with something, or have suggestions for the show, please feel free to reach out to me directly at andrew@rengenmarketing.com. And also, Rengen Marketing is a company I co-founded that provides helpful marketing consulting services to indie devs. We also have awesome in-depth content on our blog and even a free marketing plan template you can use for your next game. So thanks again for listening and hope to see you next time at Indie Game Movement.